Hello everyone, this is Heather and I'm here with episode 2 of my Just Print It series. This week's printable is a tag and I'm going to create a mixed media project with it. I've designed this tag to be the same size as the Holtz tag die. It's a standard size tag, and so here I'm just using that die to cut it out with my Cuttlebug machine, and it's going through. I love the reveal of a die cut when it comes out. Just so fun. And if you don't have this die, it's really easy just to trim around the tag. And I've set little lines on the printable itself so you know where to cut the corners off and everything if you don't have the tag die. Here I'm just trimming off because I didn't line it up perfectly, but it does line up pretty well. And on the tag base, I'm going to use a piece of balsa wood. I haven't done this before, but I think it's a really neat alternative to just a chipboard tag, and it's a nice color as well. I just like wood grain, anything really. So here I used my 3-in-1 glue to glue that cardstock onto the balsa wood, and I love that glue. It's my favorite. And when you're cutting balsa wood, I suggest doing a light cut first and then a harder cut second, or when you're going against the grain like I am here, doing several light cuts just so that the balsa wood doesn't split. I've had that happen before and it's quite disappointing. So just trimming the corners off now. I didn't try it in my die. It might work, but I figured it might split the wood as well, so figure it's easier just to cut it out. Here I'm using the big bite to just punch out that hole, and I'm punching it several times because the tag hole is actually bigger than the big bite's hole that it punches. So if you had a bigger hole punch, you could do that, or use a crocodile, whatever you prefer. So here I'm just using a regular nail file to file all the edges. I like the paper to be really flush with the wood or tag base, whatever I'm using. So I filed both sides of that and filed the little hole down because it wasn't a perfect cut, like I was saying. So here I'm using the Holtz Distress stain in the color Tarnished Brass just around the edges of the tag, and I think it really looks nice with the tag color itself. And next I'm going to add some gesso to this tag. I kind of globbed on way too much and ended up having to wipe some off with a wipe, but that's that. Oh well. So it's always fixable when you make an error, I think, or you can make your error into a happy accident as well. So here I go with the wipe. This tag, if you're not into mixed media, you don't need to use it as a mixed media tag by itself. You could certainly use it in a layout, maybe journal on it, add a layer of gesso to make it lighter and then journal on top of that, or use it as an element on your scrapbook page. There's tons of different things you could do with this, really, like any tag. So here I'm showing the Tattered Angel's Mist that I'm using. One is in the color Teal and one is in the color Tattered Leather. These are a couple of my favorites. The Teal kind of sprayed in a weird circular pattern for some reason. The nozzle must be clogged, but I dab it and blend it in a little bit with that wipe, and then just heat set it with my heat gun. As I am an impatient person, I've said that many times. Here I'm using a Recollections Doily. It's a craft color, and just using my glue stick to add that on, and I think it creates nice texture and a nice background element. And just trimmed off the excess. And this ink that I'm going around the edges with is called Dark Rust, and it's a Prima chalk ink. I really like it. And I'm also using my vintage photo along all the edges as well, my favorite ink. Closing up my glue. Oh, here comes the Crafter's Workshop tile texture mask. It's called tile texture, and I'm just using some molding paste with my finger because I have no other tool on hand. And it works well for me. I prefer using a tool, just less messy, but this works as well if you don't have anything. And it's a neat texture because it's quite random, and it's really good for mixed media stuff. I like more random textures, I guess, and I like using parts of them. So I've let that dry and come back now, and I'm going to add the embellishments here. So that's a little tag. It's quite old, from a cut apart sheet or something, or a tear apart, I guess. And I just used the aqua colored gelato from Faber-Castell. And I'm trying to find some water, but my mini mixer was empty. So here I'm just using my wipe and dampening it with water to blend that in. They are water soluble, really like the gelatos. I need to get some more colors. And I'm adding some of the coconut white as well. Love these. They're so fun for mixed media. They're good on layouts because they don't warp the paper too much, depending how much water you use to blend it in, of course, but I really like them. And now I'm adding more vintage photo ink just on top of the molding paste. And I'm going to add some gelato on this little ticket as well. I don't even remember what company made that. It's got to be like 5 to 10 years old. I still have them. I don't know where they came from, but I love them. So now I'm using my 3-in-1 glue again to add that on top. And even though there's so much texture on the tag, this really holds its ground quite well on the texture. So I really like that glue. I can't rave enough about it. And now I'm going to add some washi tape. These tapes are from Recollections from Michaels, and that one's one of my favorites just because it's a neat kind of, I guess, abstract pattern. And this one I really like too because it's thin, and I don't have many tapes that thin, so I really like it. And the colors went nicely with my tag that I'm creating here as well. More ink on top, of course, always layering. And these crystals are from Prima, Seiden crystals they're called, and I like to cut them apart and use them that way if they're not quite the perfect shape. I've had these for a long time, and I don't know if people even really use crystals anymore, but I still like these, so I'll use them up. I actually have another package too, I believe. I find people now have gotten so much more into the enamel dots versus the crystals, so but I like the patterns of these. I just cut that one to use a little piece of it down at the bottom there as well. So let me know what your input is on crystals and these kind of designs. Do you still buy them? Do they even make them anymore? I don't know. These tags I got at Michael's recently. They're Studio 18. They were just in those little $1.50 bins or whatever, and I like them because it's like a label on the back and a cute saying with silver on the front, so I think I'll use them on a lot of stuff. I just put a jump ring on my little charm there, and now I'm looking for a safety pin. The one I selected is a Tim Holtz pin, and I pretty much always pin charms onto my tags because, I don't know, I just like safety pins and how that looks. So now I'm grabbing some twill ribbon stuff from my stash. It has some words on it. I don't know what they say, but I think it came like wrapped around a product of some sort. So I really like using found objects as well and stashing them away for later. I struggled a bit to get it in there because I always forget which way I like it. Yeah, I don't know if you have that problem as well. So now I'm adding this tag. It's already got the baker's twine on it, and I'm just putting it through the twill ribbon, pulling that tight, and then I will pull one strand back through and just tied in a little bow at the back, and I wanted the same side showing, so I just flipped it over there. I like that idea, just having a dangly thing on both sides, and it's like a tag on a tag, which I think is interesting as well. Adds more interest. And I'm just adding the safety pin here. And I'm about to wrap this up, so I will add some photos at the end. And please don't forget to use my printable on any sort of project you want, a card, a layout. I think tags are pretty versatile, so do what you may with this, and I hope you tell me where to find your project so that you can be entered in my giveaway. And if you want to check out my stash kit that I'm giving away, I'll link that below, and also include an image at the end here of some of the things I'm giving away. There's my jazz fingers, and into the photos we go. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and please check out the blog for more detailed photos as well.